Just because you don't like your ex doesn't mean they're a narcissist, and here's why. I'm Michelle Young, licensed clinical social worker.
And I'm Dr. Adeline Leon, licensed clinical psychologist.
So when we say someone is a narcissist, we're also referring to a personality disorder called narcissistic personality disorder. And actually, the amount of people who have this diagnosis in the US is really low. It's about up to 5% of the population has this diagnosis.
And so with any personality disorder, including narcissistic personality disorder, the thing about it is that it's really pervasive. So pervasive meaning that you see it in their relationships with all people. So it's not just their romantic relationships. It's in their romantic relationships with their family, including their parents, siblings, teachers, classmates, friends. Everybody notices this pattern of behavior in this person. It's not just their romantic partners. And when we think about that, another thing about it being really pervasive and being very kind of permanent is that it starts off in your 20s, your early 20s, because our personalities are actually fully formed by the time we're about 25. So if you haven't known the person since they were in their early 20s, then you don't actually really know if they've always been this way since they were that age. But there's 9 symptoms, and they need to have at least 5 of them. So number 1 is a grandiose sense of importance. That means that they expect to be recognized for something, even if it's something really small. So they, maybe they, baked a cake for someone and they expect to be acknowledged for it being this, wow, oh my God, wow, it's amazing. And they expect a lot.
And then the second symptom is being preoccupied with fantasies of success and power and brilliance, beauty, perfect love. Like they have this fantasy, this unrealistic expectation that they are going to have this like really amazing life, that they deserve this amazing life, and that, they're like above other people. So again, like there's like this, like I'm better and I deserve better. And then here's this like life that I deserve, that I have all this power and money and success. There's also that like, and they're almost like preoccupied with it. Like that's all that they could think of. And they think that they deserve it.
Number 3, which is pretty much related to what Michelle just said, is that they also tend to think they're very special and unique, and they can be only understood by certain people. So they might say things kind of like, oh, you wouldn't understand that, or, oh, only this type of person would understand that. And kind of like they're part of this in their head. They might be kind of a sort of elite sort of group, even though technically that group might not really exist.
And then related to that too, another symptom is that they want, maybe require in their relationships, excessive admiration. They want people to have that, oh my God, you're the best. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, what you did was the most perfect thing ever. They expect and believe that they deserve that kind of expression from everyone around them, because everything that they do should be this grand thing in their mind. It's this grand thing, and therefore they expect this like, oh my God, wow, oh my God, like the whole cake example that you had earlier.
Mm-hmm. Number 5 is that they have a sense of entitlement, which is, I think, can sound really similar to the one I said earlier about feeling special. But sense of entitlement is not just being special, like unique. Sense of entitlement is having kind of like special privileges or special like permission. So, I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is if you're trying to get into like an exclusive club, for example, they expect to be, maybe they're not on the list, but they expect like, oh, well, you should know who I am. You should, it's kind of like that kind of funny saying that you hear like, oh, don't you know who I am? That's a very narcissistic thing to say, where I should be allowed entry into this exclusive club because I should have that status, that higher status than other people.
And all of these things that we're saying, like this excessive admiration, this entitlement, it's all unreasonable. It's all like as us on the outside looking in, it's like, why are you expecting this? Your expectations do not match reality. So that's also, I think, something to point out. But another symptom is that what we often see is that there's an exploitative nature to their personality, to their behaviors, and they are willing to take advantage of other people in order to achieve their own goals and their own ends. So they have that, again, preoccupation with success and having this grand life, and they're willing to hurt other people, step on other people to get there.
Number 7 is lacking empathy. This is a really, really big one. And this is probably one that I think in everything that we've seen on social media saying that exes might be narcissists, I think it's really latching on to this one. Lacking empathy, it's not just not being able to put yourself in other people's shoes, although that's part of it, but it's so much more than that. It's that you are not aware of other people's suffering. And just to go back to one of the first point that I made, it's not just your partner's suffering, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whoever. It's you're not aware of anyone's suffering. So let's say your mom is in the hospital, your mom has appendicitis and she's in a lot of pain, and you're just kind of like, oh, well, like, when are you going to get out of the hospital and make me dinner? So it's kind of like that really not identifying with other people's feelings, and especially not identifying with other people's suffering.
They're oblivious to it. They're like just unaware, like you're saying. There's this oblivious to other people's feelings, their suffering. I think too, they're oblivious to maybe their own actions and their own words and how it might hurt another person or might cause another person suffering. There's no awareness there. They're oblivious to it. And then another symptom is that they're often envious of other people, or they believe that everyone is jealous of them because they're great. So everyone is jealous of them. They're the center of attention. And then if someone has something that they want, then there is this strong envy towards those people.
And number 9, the last one, is that they can show a really arrogant attitude, a very kind of I'm better than you attitude, kind of like nose up in the air kind of attitude toward other people. And I'm just going to emphasize again what I've already said a couple times. It's toward everyone. It's not just toward someone that they broke up with or someone that they were in a relationship with. They have that attitude toward everyone. And so, when you think about whether breakups are hard, and I think getting to a good place about your ex, sometimes we get there, sometimes we don't, and that's unfortunately just part of being in a relationship and just part of the breakup process. But just remember that it's 5 out of these 9 symptoms. It's really pervasive. It's with everyone, and you've had these symptoms since your early 20s or so. And that's what a narcissistic personality disorder really is. It's in up to 5% of people. So chances are your ex is not a narcissist.
Follow us for more helpful tips like this.